Well, I've served in this parliament over the terms of 4 Prime Ministers. Prime Minister Albanese has easily been the worst of them. He promised he would lead a more accountable government in the wake of Scott Morrison's secret ministries. The Labor government's conduct in Parliament has been exactly the opposite of this principle. They have shut down debate on critical legislation, ramming through disastrous bills with the enthusiastic support of the Greens and Senator Pocock. Yesterday they refused to support Senator Price's motion supporting a Royal Commission in child sexual abuse in Indigenous communities, making the disgusting claim it was playing politics. The hypocrisy and callousness of the statement is breathtaking. The motion wasn't playing politics, but voting it down was. This is the Prime Minister who promised a $270 reduction in electricity bills, but they've gone up almost 50% under his government. Despite strong public support for my measures, Labor has refused to look into the Aboriginal industry corruption, children being treated for gender dysphoria and Indigenous identity fraud. My approach to these issues has always been in the interest of the Australian people. I am disgusted at the seat warmers in this chamber who tell me privately they agree with these initiatives and policies but refuse to support them in public. Lastly, this Prime Minister should, but will most definitely not, fall on his sword for imposing a racially divisive referendum on the Australian people and blowing more than $400 million on a lost cause. The PM can hold a robo-debt Royal Commission, but no Royal Commission into sexual abuse of children. Australians are not fools, and that was evident last weekend, and they are fed up with the politics, false promises and the blatant deceit this government shows towards them. So Australians will have that say at the next election, and hopefully this government will be gone, thrown out on its ear.
Quick favour, if you are the kind of person who loves Australia and loves to be up to date on what is going on in our country's politics, hit that subscribe button. It helps us keep this channel going. Over 90% of viewers have not yet, and it would mean the world to us if you did. Thank you. Now back to the show. Is Pauline Hanson the new political gravity in Canberra? She is currently polling higher than the Liberals. That is not just a ripple in the pond, that is a tsunami, and the major parties are desperately looking for high ground. G'day, welcome to Oz Politics Report. The establishment is sweating, and frankly, it is quite a spectacle to behold. Pauline Hanson, the woman the political elites tried to ignore for 30 years, is not just knocking on the door of power, she is essentially trying to kick the door down with a record-breaking 22% polling figure. But how did we get here? It's not merely populist fervour, it's a fundamental collapse of public trust. People are struggling with the cost of living, housing is a pipe dream for most, and the major parties are just missing in action. They seem to be talking past the people, not to them. Then you have the Bondi Junction attack. It was a wake-up call that hit the national consciousness harder than a freight train. Pauline Hanson has stepped into that vacuum, framing national security and border integrity not as fringe issues, but as the absolute foundation of public safety. Then the political plot thickened. Barnaby Joyce leaving the Nationals for One Nation, that is the political equivalent of a twist in a thriller novel that nobody saw coming. She is moving through the political landscape like a bulldozer through a picket fence, unapologetic, persistent and impossible to ignore. She is no longer content being the kingmaker in the Senate, she wants the crown. She is pitching One Nation as an alternative government, a serious contender for the national stage. Some call it right-wing populism, she calls it patriotic truth-telling. The labels don't stick anymore, do they? When you're polling this high, the labels start to feel like dust in the wind, entirely irrelevant to the voters who feel ignored. It's a total leadership vacuum out there. Across Labor and the Coalition, the public sees a lack of vision. It's all ideological abstraction and not enough concrete action on stagnating wages or public safety. When Hanson speaks about truth-telling, she is hitting a nerve that is raw and exposed. She is transforming from an outsider protest movement into a credible alternative, and that shift has profound implications for our democracy and public trust. Before we dive into the deep policy breakdown, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. It keeps us accountable and helps us grow. She's also leaning into her long history of consistency. opposing the voice to Parliament, challenging mandates and questioning mass immigration. To her loyal supporters, she is the only figure who has not changed her tune since 1996. To her critics, she is a persistent thorn that refuses to be pulled. But the numbers don't lie. She is actively targeting Queensland seats for a lower house breakthrough, and the major parties are watching their comfortable dominance slip away. She's reframing her past, not as a spectacle, but as a principled stand. She is positioning herself as the pragmatic voice of accountability. The political landscape is shifting, and Oz Politics Report will be here to cover every tremor. Thank you for watching.